Guys, here it is, season previews. 10 minutes on each team in the NHL. There are 32 of them to get through, and we are starting with the Anaheim Ducks. Jesse, before we get into like the deep stuff, what are the odds at Sports Interaction?
Their over-under on regular season points is 79.5.
Never a good sign.
And they had 76 points last season, by the way.
Ooh.
So they need a win.
Little better.
They need a win and a half.
Yeah, and I got bad news. I don't see it happening there, fellas.
Well, but to give it good news, they are. Could you call them the NHL's most fun team?
Oh, they're definitely fun, and they're worth watching. And that was the criticism I had of the Seattle Kraken last year, is that not only are they bad, they're irrelevant. The Ducks are not irrelevant, and the good thing is we know exactly what they're trying to accomplish, right? They're trying to build for the future, and they've already done a lot of that work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jamie Drysdale, Trevor Ziegress, etc. They have pieces, but winning games this year is going to be a challenge for them. They were hot out of the gate last year, so that propped them up en route to a finish that wasn't even good. And now this is the beginning of the post Ryan Getzlaf era in Anaheim, and I just see that being a big struggle. And Jesse pulled up their cap friendly, and I wonder if you noticed the same thing that I did.
What did you notice, Jesse?
Well, what I like about the Anaheim Ducks is that for as young as they are on the forward group, that is how old they are in terms of their top four defensemen. They're running with John Klingberg, Cam Fowler, Kevin Shattenkirk, and Dmitry Kulikov, which are 31, 33, 30, and 30.
How many of those guys are signed beyond this year?
One. Cam Fowler. He signed for another 4 years. So they're a great sell-off team if things go in the tank, which I assume they're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, but I like that they have a veteran presence on the back end to balance out the very, 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 very young forward group.
And to you know what's going to be very interesting about Anaheim too is, first off, are you going to see the reemergence of John Gibson? Because there's been injuries. There's been inconsistencies. Is John Gibson even 80% of the goalie he was when he was a Vezina caliber candidate 3.5 seasons ago? The other thing I think that is going to be fascinating about these guys is you have Adam Henrique and Silverberg both going into the final of 2 years on their deals, which means by the trade deadline, everybody's going to be saying you'd be able to trade for this year and next year, which makes them an extremely valuable piece to playoff contending teams.
Henrique, who, if I'm not mistaken, was waived last year, right? Like Pat Verbeek is going to be an extremely busy bee there. They did get some guys to commit for a while. Ryan Strome just signed the long deal there, but like he's essentially just replacing Ryan Getzlaf. And in terms of John Gibson, if you're looking to get any value for him, I think the sooner you trade him, the better. Frankly, because I know you're looking for resurgence from him. I just don't see how that happens with the team as constructed.
Well, and the problem with trading John Gibson is you've got this year, next year, 24, 25, 25, 26, and 26, 27 at $6.5 million.
You just need to make sure you don't eat any money in that deal. And then everything that's not nailed down or named like Trevor Ziegress, everything that's not nailed down or under 25, I think is out the door.
Right, and there's also the possibility that John Gibson could just be bad now. He went from a 920, 924, 926 to a 904, 903, 904. Like, the team around him is awful, but he also hasn't been the best goaltender in the world.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to be the best goaltender in the world on a bad team.
You would argue, though, that he was helping to prop up the Ducks towards the end of the, I don't know if you would call them a dynasty years, but the Getzlaf-Perry years. Right, when they were coming to the end of their dominance in the league. The other guy that obviously everybody's got a couple eyes on is John Klingberg. He didn't get the long 5-6 year term that he wanted this offseason. He did get the money though, $7 million for 1 year. This is sort of the ultimate show me deal, and he is going to get all the power play time he wants and needs. Although Cam Fowler, you have to think, is going to challenge him for that a little bit. What is John Klingberg, and what does he need to be to ultimately get the contract that he and his agent would like Because it's not probably going to happen here, and he likely gets moved at the deadline.
He needs to encourage his teammates to draw as many penalties as possible, because I think that's the only area of the ice where he's going to look any good. I mean, like we know what's going on here, right? This is exactly what happened to Taylor Hall. He's signing a big money 1-year deal, basically trying to have his cake and eat it too, where he gets a little bit of money, gets pitched out the door at the trade deadline, and ends up competing for a Stanley Cup, which is what every player wants to do. What he's got to do is basically play playoff style hockey. Like if he puts up a bunch of power play points, okay, great, but you're not showing us anything new. We already knew John Klingberg could do that. We need a little bit of Dallas. We need you to shut guys down, be hard nosed, and he was throwing fists in a very strange blood feud with Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, that was
last playoffs. I didn't know they hated each other so much. So we all know he can put up points with the best of them. If he can help stabilize the Ducks back end, prove he can be a mentor to the younger guys, I think that'll help get him out the door. Or, and this is possible, it'll help the Ducks get better, and he can maybe sign a long-term deal there. They have the cap room.
Yeah.
They have $16 million
and
heading into the
still to
season.
go. Yeah.
When they're not a winning team, traditionally they're not a spend of the cap team. There's a lot of teams that can be losing teams but spend of the cap. The Anaheim Ducks are not that. However, they could, as cap space gets tighter and tighter and tighter, they could weaponize some of that. And I was actually really surprised that they didn't retain Sonny Milano. Just thought, what's it really cost you to keep Sonny Milano? They didn't do it.
Could still get him back.
Sure.
I still think, for some reason, I think that's going to happen, even though he's at Flames camp right now.
And they're trying to fit him into the Flames lineup.
Yeah, good luck.
Maybe he wants to be with the Flames.
Do the Flames want him to be with
Well,
the Flames?
we'll see. They PTO'd him, so we'll see. But I think it's a very interesting dynamic that they have going on here. Now, Trevor Ziegress and Troy Terry are keys to the success of where this team is going, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you need to see from Ziegress and Troy Terry going forward? Ziegress bringing 21. Troy Terry, a lot of people don't know this, is already 25.
Yes. So they need to take the next step, not just offensively. I mean, again, that's something we already know they can do.
Mm-hmm.
Troy Terry put up a ton of points. Trevor Ziegress was floating around the Calder conversation. They got to be better on both sides of the puck, and they got to take a hold of the locker room. Right now, there's a big power vacuum without having Ryan Getzlaf there. And what I think can happen in a rebuild is the vets who are there but don't necessarily seem like they're going to be part of the future 3-4 years down the road. I think it's possible for them to be tuned out a little bit. I don't know if they've named a captain. And
I don't think so.
And I don't know if they're going to. So guys like Terry and guys like Ziegress have got to take control of this team off the ice as well. Because, I mean, let's face it, this is their team. Trevor Ziegress is on the cover of NHL. And I know that's not going to help the Ducks win the Stanley Cup, but I feel like that's no small thing. You look at the list of guys who have been on the cover. A lot of them wear letters. A lot of them are leaders. A lot of them went on to win the Stanley Cup. A lot of them went on to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. No pressure there,
Right.
Trevor, but that's what he's got to live up to.
So go ahead.
One day, Trevor Ziegress and Mason McTavish are going to be one of the best 1-2 combos in the entire league. And Jamie Drysdale on the back end will be the part of the three-headed monster there. But Mason McTavish right now is 19. He's going to take some time. And Ziegress, 21, he's a guy who needs to take the step this season because he needs a contract. So, he's an RFA. He's coming up. They just came out. They said they're not going to negotiate during the season. So it's going to be on him to find a way to score a lot of points on a bad team.
We have 40 seconds left, gentlemen. And actually, we now have 30 seconds left. Where do you place Anaheim in this division? There are 8 teams in this division. What place is Anaheim when the season's done?
Despite the fact that the Seattle Kraken are in the division, 8th.
They are in 8th place. Jesse, what do you think?
I have them 6th.
I too have them 6th. I have them in 6th place as well. Yeah. I think, but I still smash the under on the over-under from Sports Interaction.
I don't know if that works.
What do you mean?
I think you would have them a little higher if they finish 6th.
What
79 points?
Nah.
You think under 79
you need 99 points
I guess he
to
just
qualify
hates
for the playoff.
division.
Under 79 points and still in six. So the division's going to be bad.
It's
you're
good and
saying.
it's bad.
I can't wait to find out who the two teams. That's wild.